Welcome to the CSEA Award Podcast. I'm Keith Miller, your host. Today we spotlight Elizabeth Rockman, the Associate Director of the Campus Honors Program. Elizabeth sets a standard of excellence in everything that she does. Her dedication to students is unmatched as she creates innovative publications for student recruitment, orchestrates the complex admission process, and provides stellar co-curriculum programming and advising. Every student needs a go-to person on campus, and for many, Elizabeth is that person. Campus Honors Program alumni often make it a point to visit her when they make a return to campus, highlighting her role as an amazing bridge between alumni and the university.
My name is Elizabeth Rockman, and I am a CSEA award winner, and I am an Illinois professional.
Join us as we explore Elizabeth Rockman's extraordinary journey and her profound impact on the university. Welcome, Elizabeth, to the CSEA Award Podcast. Thank you for being on the podcast. Really appreciate it.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, so can you tell us about what your job is and how long you've been here at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign?
Great. Thank you. Well, I've actually been back at the U of I since the very late days of 1999. They were all worried about Y2K. It was very dramatic. And of course, nothing happened.
The computer is going down.
Right. So I came back from the East Coast and I worked in the Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs office as the assistant to the Vice Chancellor. So my job now, I've been the Associate Director at the Campus Honors Program since 2004, and I work with amazing undergraduates in the Campus Honors Program. I do programming. I work with publications. I do our admissions process. I oversee our admissions process. I support our students in a lot of big picture advising. We really encourage them to do research and study abroad. Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about what the Campus Honors Program is?
Absolutely. So the Campus Honors Program is made up of about 550 to 600 students at any one time. They are undergraduates from all majors, all disciplines. They're academically very engaged, but it's not just about test scores and grades. It's really about students being interested in doing a lot of things.
Yes.
So a student who has perfect ACT or SAT scores but doesn't do anything in high school, we don't even look at their records. We do a holistic review. And so we want to bring them in so that they're going to take advantage of all of our opportunities.
Yep.
So, you can have an English major who may end up going to med school. You may have an engineer who loves music, as long as they're interested in a lot of things, because our classes are really, they're diverse, they're engaging.
Mm-hmm.
They're 20 students or fewer in
Wow.
each class. So what I also do then is we have co-curricular programming. So I run about 12 to 14 programs a semester where they can come, maybe eat some pizza, learn something really new, maybe go on a tour, and then, it's a one-off. So it's not really a huge commitment. It's about an average of one a semester that they do. And then they also go to one Cranert dress rehearsal in their whole 4 years here.
Yeah.
So they get exposed to the arts. Some of them like to do it a lot more than that. And we also have, we have a physical space on campus where many of our classes take place. But, we encourage them to take their classes in the first 4 semesters and then their capstone seminar as junior seniors, because we know that they need to be doing their major stuff in
Yes.
their last 2 semesters. And then we really are very supportive even to our alums. So when they graduate, they go on, but they know that the CHP is sort of their home, their home away from home. Absolutely.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So I know you said there that there's a lot of things that they're involved in their high school. Does that carry over to campus as well?
It does. So we have engagement within the Campus Honors Program. They can be part of the Honor Student Council,
Mm-hmm.
which is not like in high school where, it's, very formal and there's elections. It's really about showing up and planning social and academic events for each other, doing service engagement on campus, doing publications of their own. They do a literary and arts magazine, that kind of thing. But then also we really do encourage them to do a lot of things outside of the Campus Honors Program. They're meant to be citizens of the campus. And so I feel like there's a lot of overlapping communities on campus, and we want them to do what they're interested in, but we're hopefully that we can help not just engage them maybe within the Campus Honors Program, but help them get to the next steps of things they want to do academically and socially as well throughout campus or even off campus. especially through service.
That's great. That's great. So I'm interested about your background.
Yeah.
So why did you choose the university? Were you always in the campus honors program, or have you been in other units as well?
Right. So actually, I was here as an undergrad. So I knew it was a great university, there's a great mission behind what the university does. And I was really lucky to have that experience. So I went on for grad school on the East Coast, and I worked in nonprofits, actually, conservation nonprofits. And I was trying to figure out where else, what were my goals in the future. And with my now husband having been here, and I have family nearby, it just seemed like a natural fit to come back. And so when I started working in campus, when I was the assistant to the vice chancellor for student affairs, when I came back at the end of '99, I thought, I was working in student affairs. At that time, there were, I think, 12 or 13 different units, from everything from campus rec and assembly hall to the smaller ones like OMSA and, the counseling center.
Yeah.
I thought that I would really get to engage with students, and I did get to work with students. I got to work with Greg Turner Fellows, and I volunteered to serve as a non-student member on the SORF board, a non-student member on the Aligning Union board, and I really enjoyed that part of it. The big budget stuff that I was doing was interesting, but it wasn't as engaging for me.
Yeah.
So when I found out that this opportunity at the Campus Honors Program opened up, I thought, that seems like a really great fit for me, because I just wanted to help students, whatever I could do to help students. And so when I got the position, I was in a different role. I was an assistant director for operations, which was fine. And I got to oversee the Honor Student Council, and I got to go on intercultural study tours with the students to Japan and Peru.
Oh my goodness.
Which was really
amazing.
Which was really wonderful. Yeah. But really the best fit for me was the role that I took. I sort of it's a different role in the same organization that was actually originated by one person who'd been in the role for 21 years.
Wow.
And that's what I sort of got to go into that. And then there have been other operational folks that have been amazing. But this is the position with the publications and the programming and sort of the getting to do the big picture with the students from the admissions part and all the way through their graduation. And then I stay in touch with alums. So like when I travel, I see alums, and so a lot of that is tied up in fundraising and development and, building those relationships. But a lot of it is just because I enjoy them. Yeah. And so I like connecting our current students to our alums because, it's a way for the alums to give back, but it's also a way to say, you may want to do something you don't think anybody else has ever done, but I might know somebody who can actually help you get to that point.
Yeah. So how do students get involved in the Campus Honors Program? Are they chosen? Or are they reviewed as they apply to the university? How does that process work out?
Yeah, there's two different ways for students to get into the program. And one is incoming, and it's just we use their U of I application. They can fill out a supplemental piece if they want to give us more information, because the U of I application doesn't ask for a lot of information. Yeah. It does ask for activities, and it does have essays and, what the leadership and all that. So I actually I probably look at 3,000 to 4,000 data points to get to about 1,100 applications that I actually look at. And then from there, I do sort of that review to see, are students actually doing something? If they're not doing much, then I don't review them. And then at that point, it's a holistic review, and I do it major by major, but I look at all sorts of factors, including within the major. Are they interested? Have they done things about the major, but are they also interested in other things?
Yeah.
I look at if they're first generation. I look at if there's economic issues.
Exactly.
So within each major, I even look at high school. I look at downstate. I look at out of state. So we're really looking at the full student and really trying to get at, would the student really enjoy the opportunities we have and would they benefit from them? So then after first successful semester, so we get in about 125 at that point. And then after first successful semester, we do then get some other populations to fill in, and we invite a number of students to apply, and then some students just decide to apply. And so at that point, we even do a more full review And so instead of looking at 3,000 students to
Yeah.
get to the 125, we'll look at maybe 50 to 60 to get to the 25 to 30 that we'll intake. And so, so it's a really nice way to balance it out. We are just one honors program on campus. There's also the James Scholars in each college.
Yep.
We're very overlapping. If a student takes one of our classes, it fulfills the James Scholar classes, but not the other way around. And then, in the Big Ten, there's honors colleges, there's honors programs.
Yeah.
Everybody's a little bit different in the Big Ten and throughout the country, too.
Gotcha. Okay. So how do you think your job relates to the overall mission of the university?
Well, besides providing community to students, which, obviously is the mission of the campus, I think it really is big picture recruitment and retention. We have some of the top students, and so that's the sort of recruitment part. We have a number of students who say, I only came to the U of I because of Campus Honors Program. I had a lot of choices, and this is what sort of made it seem like a good fit, because they either came to visit or they felt like, wow, they see that I'm really engaged and really want to do more. So there's that recruitment piece to it, but there's also the retention. It's like students are going to be, if they're happy, they're going to do much better in all their classes. And in fact, our students, they tend to do very well, but when a student is struggling, it usually isn't about us. Like, our classes are usually helping their GPA. It's usually more that maybe they didn't pick the right fit for a major, or there's other issues going on.
Outside factors.
Yeah. And sometimes too, we can spot red flags or issues early for a student, where a CHP faculty member will say, I think somebody's struggling. Can you reach out to them? And we can have that ability. We have that luxury, I would say, to be able to reach out to the student and do sort of hands-on. Are you okay? Is everything,
That's a great relationship with the faculty that you have. That they reach out to you and let you know, the progress of a student or how they're doing. That's fantastic.
Great.
What do you find the most unique aspect of your job, or what do you find the most interesting?
I have a couple of things. So one thing is that the framework of my job doesn't really change, and I think that's the truth for a lot of advisors. You have certain times of year you have to do certain things.
Yes.
But within that framework, the programming that I do, I can be really creative with it.
Yeah.
So I can, in my co-curricular events that we require one a semester, at least an average of, I have had, this past year, I've had food justice in Black communities. I've had the science of deception. I've had the physics of baseball. And it can just be, a one-off. I do a lot of research on those, but I sort of, what's the most timely thing? What's interesting to our students? And they may learn something in that hour or hour and a half that they may not otherwise get. And so then when they graduate, we ask them, what is your favorite memory? And it's really all of our programming, all of our events. I mentioned the Crayon Art dress rehearsals, exposing them to the arts. There may be students who've never heard an opera, or they've never seen a dance performance. Yes. And a lot of times it really blows their minds, especially this last semester. There were some really unique performances at Crayon Art. The other thing I think that's really exciting about my job is that I learn from the students. So I empower the students to write for our annual newsletter, and I feel like they grow from that, but it's so much better than me writing the 2 or 3 paragraphs about certain events, and they give their shine on it. But also, as advisors, we learn things. We all know what it is for a student to be neurodivergent, but for a student to talk to me about what it really means to her, to be neurodivergent and how that impacts her life. And I've seen that specific student really grow and change. It's really meaningful. So I feel like I also grow and change because of them.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
It sounds like you have a really great relationship with all the students in the program. That's fantastic. So do you have a day that you felt most proud to be an Illinois professional?
So I feel like it's really hard to boil down to one day, but I do have a couple moments that I think of, and they're both student related. I had a student who was, she was very socioeconomically advantaged, and she would come to me every year for certain recommendations, and I really felt like she was going through the motions, and we weren't really connecting, and that was okay because not every student needs whatever it is. And I thought, but it was very transactional. And I thought, it's too bad because this is a very limiting sort of relationship. Then she went on a study abroad to Africa her senior year, first semester senior year, and she came back completely transformed. And she was just like, I didn't know what I didn't know, and I need to go out and kind of try to save the world. And it was like she was a new person.
Put her on a totally different path.
Yeah. And
that gives you chills.
Yeah, it does. And when she did that, she came in my office and she was just like, she was shook. Yeah. She really was. And she said, we talked through things. She ended up working, I believe, at USAID overseas. And she wrote me a card, and it really told me how much that all meant. And, before I didn't feel like anything meant much. So that was really special. But there's sort of a counterpoint is I had another student, rural student, first gen, very socioeconomically disadvantaged. She didn't even know what a resume was. As a freshman, she said, I don't know what this is. What does this mean? And then she came to me as a sophomore and she said, I want to graduate in 3 years and I want my junior year to be a full year of study abroad in the UK. And I said, well, okay. I understood she was working 3 jobs. She had, although she had a lot of scholarships. I said, well, what do you want to do? Because she was a psychology major. She said, I want to practice archaeology law. I said, well, first law school, they don't want you to graduate that fast. You're not going to get all the opportunities. Have you thought about like majoring or minoring in anthropology? Because, that's part of it. She ended up graduating. I mean, she went off for her year long. She ended up graduating 5 years with 2 degrees and a minor. And ended up getting her degree. She got a dual passport, actually. Ended up getting her law degree in the UK. So, So to me, that's just like, that's what it's all about.
Yeah. She wanted to whip right through it. And then she found out that, this is, there's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
So how did you find out that you were nominated as a
CSEA? This is kind of a funny story. So I know it's during spring break. My husband was on the couch, I don't know, watching a baseball game, and I was working away. It was a work from home day. Yeah. And I saw some official looking email. A lot of times we ignore those official looking emails too. Like we might read them, but we might be like, oh, what am I getting? So I saw, and I'm like, oh, what announcement do we have? What road's being fixed or whatever?
Yes.
And I started reading it. And I burst into tears. I started crying. And my husband's like, what's wrong? I was like, nothing's wrong. At the time, so my wonderful director, Lori Johnson, she was on sabbatical in Germany. She must have arranged all this while she was doing this, and I had these letters of support from people I really value. And I just burst into tears, and he couldn't get a word out of me for a while, and I couldn't speak. And then I told him, and it was really lovely because it's not what I'm about.
Yes.
And when I did my speech at the reception, I was so nervous. I mean, I wrote down what I wanted to say, but I was so nervous, and I really almost blacked out. But I wanted to thank everybody because it's all about. I feel like. We're all here to support the students. We're all here to do what we can do. But it was a lovely moment.
It's nice when we can support each other.
Yeah,
exactly.
So nice to
recognize each other.
Exactly.
The amazing work you do at the Campus Honors Program.
Thank you.
Happy to meet you.
Thank you. And ILL.
I. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Illinois Professional. If interested in nominating somebody for a Campus Staff Award, there's a link in the description for more information. And be sure to follow @IllinoisHR on Twitter for inspirational and informational posts.